My wife has been living a double life. A stranger just told me everything. I don't even know where to start with this. I've been married to my wife Claire for 5 years, together for 8 total. I genuinely thought what we have is solid. She's always been the social one, works in customer relations for a fashion company, always at networking events, always chatting with clients. I'm a construction engineer, so I'm more the quiet type. We balanced each other out, or so I thought. Tuesday afternoon, I was at a job site reviewing blueprints when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me check. Sorry if I'm reaching the wrong person. Are you married to Claire? I stared at that message for a solid minute, absolutely confused. Who the hell is this? I was about to block the number when another message came through. I have some things you need to know. You deserve to know the truth. I should have blocked him right there. I should have deleted it and moved on with my day, but I didn't. I texted back. Who is this? The response came with 2 attachments. The first was a photo of Claire at some upscale restaurant. She was wearing that blue dress she wore when she told me she was heading to a client dinner 3 weeks ago, but she wasn't with clients. She was sitting across from some guy, laughing, leaning in close, too close. The second photo is of a bracelet, silver with a small sapphire charm. Claire's been wearing it for months. When I asked where she got it, she said it was a gift from her company for hitting her sales targets. The next message. I don't know what she told you, but this is a gift from me. I couldn't breathe. I was standing in the middle of a construction site and I literally could not get air into my lungs. My foreman walked by and asked if I was okay. I waved him off, walked to my truck and sat there in silence for 20 minutes. Finally, I texted back. Where can we meet? His name is Jason Carter. He's 34, works as a personal trainer. We met at a coffee shop about 30 minutes from my house. I got there first, ordered a black coffee I didn't drink, and waited. Jason walked in exactly on time. He's fit, obviously, probably 6 feet tall, the kind of guy women notice. I hate that I'm sizing him up like this, but I can't help it. He spotted me and walked over. His expression was exhausted. Roy, he asked. I nodded. He sat down across from me, and for a minute neither of us said anything. I'm not here to cause trouble, he finally said. I've been lied to, and I figured you probably have been too. How long? That's all I could manage. For months. I met her at a fitness expo. She was there representing her company, stopped by my booth. We started talking, exchanged numbers. She told me she was single, focused on her career, not looking for anything serious but open to seeing where things went. He paused, rubbing his face. We've been seeing each other since then. Dinner's her place when you're supposedly on job sites, my place when I have time between clients. Her place, our home. When did you find out? I asked. Last week. Little things weren't adding up, like when she'd mentioned having coffee with someone, but the timeline didn't match what she'd told me. He pulled out his phone, showed me screenshots. So I went looking, found her Facebook. Her actual one, found your wedding photos. 5 years ago, right? I could only nod. I confronted her about it Friday night. She tried to tell me it was complicated, that you two were separated but still living together for financial reasons. When I said I didn't believe her, she got angry, said I was paranoid. Then she blocked me on everything. He looked directly at me. I spent the weekend debating whether to reach out to you. But man, if I were you, I'd want to know, so here I am. I sat back in my chair, staring at the ceiling of this random coffee shop, trying to process the fact that my entire marriage might be a lie. Jason didn't say anything. He just waited. I don't blame you, I finally said. Thank you for telling me. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. We exchanged numbers before we left. He told me to reach out if I needed anything, any information, whatever. I drove home on autopilot, parked in the driveway, and sat there until Claire texted asking when I'd be home for dinner. When I walked in, she was in the kitchen making pasta. She smiled at me, asked about my day, told me about a difficult client she dealt with. I gave her vague answers, ate dinner, and excused myself to the garage, saying I need to check some blueprints. Instead, I sat on an overturned bucket and tried not to lose my mind. That was Tuesday. It's Friday now. I haven't slept more than 2 hours a night. Claire hasn't noticed, or if she has, she hasn't said anything. I've been going through everything in my head, Every late night she said was a work event. Every weekend she visited her sister. Every time she was too tired for us but apparently had energy for him. Last night I made a decision. I texted Jason, "If you're willing, I want to expose this, but we're going to do it right." His response came back in under a minute. "I owe you that much. What do you need?" So here's the thing, our 5th wedding anniversary is next Thursday. Claire has been dropping hints for weeks about wanting to do something special. I've been playing along, telling her I have a surprise planned. She thinks it's going to be jewelry or a weekend getaway. She's wrong. I've made a reservation at Marcello's, the Italian restaurant where I proposed to her 5 years ago. Table 14, the same table where I got down on one knee. Claire's going to think it's the most romantic gesture I've ever made. Jason is going to be sitting at that table when we arrive. I know this sounds insane. Maybe it is, but I'm tired of being the fool. I'm tired of the lies. If she's going to destroy our marriage, she's going to face both of us while she does it. I'll update after Thursday, assuming I survive this. Edit. Thank you everyone for the support. Yes, I know I should talk to a lawyer first. I have an appointment Monday morning. I'm not going into this blind. Update 1. The response to my last post was overwhelming. Thank you to everyone who reached out with advice. So Monday morning I met with a divorce attorney. Her name is Rebecca Chen. I walked into her office at 9 a.m. with a folder full of screenshots, photos, and a timeline I'd put together over the weekend. Rebecca didn't waste time with pleasantries. She looked through everything I had, asked pointed questions about our finances, assets, and whether we have kids. We don't, thank God. After about an hour, she leaned back in her chair. "You have a solid case for fault-based divorce if Washington allowed it, but it's a no-fault state. However, if she used marital funds for her affair, hotels, gifts, trips, that's dissipation of assets. We can request the court compensate you for that financial loss during property division." She tapped the photo of the bracelet. Did she use marital funds for gifts to her affair partner? I don't know, I admitted. We have a joint account for household stuff, but she has her own account for personal spending. Get copies of all bank statements, credit cards too, we'll need that. She paused. Now about Thursday, you're really doing this public confrontation thing. I am. Okay, I'm not going to tell you how to handle your personal life, but legally speaking, record nothing without consent in Washington. We're in a two-party state. Don't make threats, don't get physical. Document everything that happens after, but during, keep your cool. I left her office feeling more prepared but also more nauseous. This is really happening. Tuesday, I confirmed the reservation at Marcello's. The hostess remembered me. I'd called ahead and asked for the same table where I proposed. She thought it was sweet. I met Jason again Tuesday evening at the same coffee shop. He looked as wrecked as I felt. "You sure about this?" he asked as soon as he sat down. "Are you?" He thought about it for a moment. "She made me feel like an idiot, so yeah, I'm sure." We went over the plan. Jason would arrive at Marcello's at 7:00 p.m., get seated at the table. I'd bring Claire in at 7:15. He'd already be there, sitting where I'd proposed to her, with that bracelet sitting on the table in front of him. "What do I say when she sees me?" Jason asked. "You don't have to say anything, just sit there. Let her see you. Let it sink in." I paused. "If she tries to run, I'll stop her. If she tries to explain, that's when you talk. Tell her exactly what she told you, that she was single, that we were separated, whatever lies she fed you. And then we both walk away and let her sit with what she's done." Jason nodded slowly. "She's going to explode. I know." We sat there in silence for a while. It's strange, bonding with someone over mutual betrayal. Wednesday was the hardest day. Claire was excited, kept asking what I had planned. "Just trust me," I kept saying. "It'll be memorable." She had no idea how right I was. I spent Wednesday evening going through our finances like Rebecca suggested. Joint checking account, mostly normal stuff, groceries, utilities, her car payment. Then I opened her credit card statement, the one that comes to our house but she always grabs first from the mail. There it was. Charges at hotels. Expensive dinners at restaurants we've never been to together. A $250 at a men's clothing store. She's been spending our money because even though it's her card, I'm the primary earner on him. I took photos of everything, sent them to Rebecca. Last night Claire asked if she should wear anything special tomorrow. That blue dress you love, I suggested. The same one she wore on her date with Jason. Perfect, she said, kissing my cheek. I love you, I couldn't say it back. I just nodded and went to the garage again. It's Thursday morning now. The reservation is in 9 hours. Jason texted me at 6 a.m. Today's the day. You ready? I texted back, ready as I'll ever be. Claire is in the shower humming. She's happy. She thinks tonight is going to be romantic, that I'm going to give her jewelry or tell her how much I love her. Instead, she's going to walk into that restaurant and see both of the men she's been lying to sitting at the table where our marriage began. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe she'll cry. Maybe she'll scream. Maybe she'll just leave. But for the first time in a week, I'm not the one in the dark anymore. She is. I'll update tomorrow, assuming I make it through tonight. Update 2. I'm writing this from a hotel room at 11 p.m. because I couldn't go back to that house tonight. I don't even know if I can get all of this down coherently, but I need to write it out. Jason texted me at 6:45 p.m. I'm here, table 14. Good luck. I didn't respond. Just pocketed my phone and told Claire it was time to go. She looked incredible. That blue dress, her hair done perfectly, a little extra makeup. She was practically glowing. I can't believe you got us into Marcello's, she said in the car. Isn't it usually booked months out? I called in a favor, I lied. Or maybe it wasn't a lie. Maybe the universe owed me this. The drive took 20 minutes. She spent most of it talking about her day, about a coworker who got promoted, about how she wanted to go to Napa for a weekend soon. Normal conversation, like she wasn't sleeping with someone else. Like our entire marriage wasn't built on lies. I parked, walked around, opened her door like I always do. She took my hand and smiled up at me. You're being so mysterious. What's the surprise? You'll see in a minute. We walked into Marcello's. The hostess greeted us immediately. Mr. Miller, perfect timing, your table is ready. Claire squeezed my hand, excited. We followed the hostess through the restaurant. The lighting was dim, romantic. Piano music played softly in the background. It would have been perfect if my heart wasn't hammering against my ribs. Table 14. The same table where I proposed 5 years ago. Where she said yes with tears in her eyes and kissed me while strangers applauded. Jason was already sitting there, hands folded on the table, the bracelet placed carefully in front of him, catching the candlelight. Claire saw him before she saw the bracelet. She stopped walking so suddenly I almost bumped into her. Jason, her voice came out strangled. What are you? Hi, Claire, Jason said quietly. I felt her try to pull her hand from mine, but I held on gently. Come on, I said, my voice calmer than I felt. Let's sit down. Roy, I can explain. Good, sit down and explain. The hostess looked between the three of us, clearly sensing something was wrong but not sure what. I nodded at her. We're fine, thank you. She left quickly. We sat down next to each other. Jason stayed across from us, exactly where I'd sat 5 years ago when I asked her to marry me. For a moment, nobody said anything. Claire's eyes kept darting between us, her brain clearly working overtime trying to figure out what we knew and how to spin this. Jason spoke first. Why didn't you tell me you were married, Claire? She looked at me, tears starting to form. Baby, please let me explain in private. No, I cut her off. Explain now to both of us, because we've compared notes, Claire. We know everything. Her face crumpled, real tears now streaming down her cheeks. I never meant for this to happen. I never meant to hurt anyone. But you did, Jason said. His voice was steady, but I could hear the anger underneath. You told me you were single. You came to my apartment. You let me believe we had something real. We did. She reached across the table toward him, but he pulled back. Jason, what we had was real. I have feelings for you. You're married, he said flatly. You've been married this whole time. You lied to me every single day for 4 months. Claire turned to me. Roy, please, I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you. A mistake. I felt my voice rising and forced myself to stay calm. 4 months, Claire. You've lied to me for 4 months. That's not a mistake. That's a choice you made over and over again. Her mouth opened, closed. She had no defense for that. Did you love me at all? I asked. Or was I just the safe option while you had fun with him? Of course I love you. She was sobbing now, makeup running down her face. I never wanted to lose you, then why? I asked. Why risk everything? She didn't answer, just kept crying. Jason picked up the bracelet from the table. You told me this was special, that you'd cherish it forever. He held it out to her. Did you tell him the same thing about whatever he's given you? Claire flinched like he'd hit her. Keep it, Jason said, setting it back down. I don't want it anymore. He stood up. I'm done here. Jason looked at me one last time. A silent understanding passed between us. Then he walked out of Marcello's without looking back. Claire turned to me, desperate. Roy, please, we can work through this. I'll do anything, anything. I pulled the folder from my jacket, the one I'd brought with copies of bank statements, hotel charges, everything. I laid it on the table. You spent $1,200 of our money on your affair. Hotel rooms, his clothes, jewelry. That's not a mistake, Claire. That's systematic. She stared at the papers, speechless. I've already talked to a lawyer, I continued. Filed for divorce this morning. You'll be served next week. No, she grabbed my hand. No, Roy, we can fix this. There's nothing to fix. You destroyed this marriage, not me, you. I stood up. I'm staying at a hotel tonight, but I suggest you think about where you're going to live because I'm not leaving our house. You can't do this. Her voice was rising, drawing attention from other tables. You can't just throw away 5 years. You already did that, I said. I'm just making it official. I walked out of that restaurant the same way Jason had. I didn't look back, didn't listen to her calling my name, just got in my car and drove. I'm at a Holiday Inn now. Jason texted me an hour ago. You okay? No, I replied, but I will be. Same, he wrote back. For what it's worth, you handled that better than I would have. Maybe, I don't know. I feel numb and angry and heartbroken all at once. But I also feel something I haven't felt in weeks, relief. No more lies, no more pretending, it's over. Rebecca already emailed me. She heard from Claire's lawyer. Apparently Claire hired someone as soon as she left the restaurant. They want to negotiate. Rebecca says we're in a strong position given the evidence of misuse of marital funds. I don't care about negotiations right now. I just want this to be over. Final update. It's been 3 months since that night at Marcello's. I wasn't sure if I'd post another update, but given how much support this community gave me, I feel like I owe you all closure. The divorce was finalized 2 weeks ago. It wasn't pretty, but it's done. Let me back up and fill in what happened after my last post. Claire tried to fight the divorce initially. Her lawyer sent a letter claiming I'd orchestrated a public humiliation that caused her severe emotional distress. Rebecca laughed when she read it. They have nothing, she said. This is just noise. They tried to argue for spousal support. Rebecca countered with documented evidence of Claire's affair spending, $1,847. 32 in total from our joint credit card and her personal card that I've been making payments on. Hotel rooms in our city, 17 different charges over 4 months. Dinners, gifts, even a weekend trip to the coast she'd told me was a work retreat. When faced with itemized proof, Claire's lawyer backed down fast. We settled on a clean split. She keeps her car and her personal belongings. I keep the house and my truck. No spousal support either direction. She moved out within 3 weeks of the confrontation, went to stay with her sister in Seattle. The real one this time, apparently. I haven't seen her since that night at the restaurant. We communicated entirely through lawyers. She tried texting me a few times in those first weeks. Long messages about how sorry she was, how she never meant to hurt me, how she wanted to fight for us. I blocked her number after the 3rd one. There was nothing left to say. The house felt empty for a while. I threw out anything that reminded me of her. The blue dress was still in the closet. I donated it along with about 6 boxes of her stuff she never came back for. Kept myself busy with work, pulling extra hours on sites, volunteering to take on new projects. Anything to avoid sitting in that quiet house. About 6 weeks after everything went down, Jason texted me. Hey man, you want to grab a beer? We met at a dive bar near downtown. It was weird at first. What do you even talk about with someone you only know because you were both sleeping with the same woman? But Jason's a good guy. We talked about work, sports, normal stuff. Avoided talking about Claire until the 2nd beer when he finally said, I looked her up on social media last week. She's dating someone new already. I wasn't surprised. Claire couldn't be alone. She needed validation constantly, needed someone telling her she was special. That's probably why she couldn't just pick one of us. We served different purposes for her. How do you feel about that? I asked. Jason shrugged. Honestly, I feel bad for the guy, but mostly I feel like I dodged a bullet. He looked at me. How about you? You doing okay? Getting there, I said, and I meant it. Jason and I meet up every couple weeks now. It's strange, maybe, but he's one of the few people who actually understands what happened and doesn't look at me with pity. We went to a basketball game last month. Got too drunk at a brewery last week and played trivia poorly. He's become a friend, which is not something I expected when this all started. Dating hasn't even crossed my mind yet. I'm not ready, and I'm okay with that. I've been focused on myself, hitting the gym more, reading, started playing guitar again, something I gave up years ago because Claire said it was too loud. I forgot how much I loved it. My friends have been great. The ones who actually mattered anyway. A few mutual friends Claire and I had took her side, said I was cruel for humiliating her publicly. I blocked them too. Real friends understand that she destroyed the marriage, not me. My brother came to visit last month from Colorado. We spent a weekend fishing, barely talked about Claire at all. When we did, he said, "You look better now than you have in years, you know, like healthier." He wasn't wrong. I feel clearer somehow, like I was living in a fog for years and didn't realize it until it lifted. Here's the thing nobody tells you about betrayal this deep. It changes how you see everything. I look back at our entire relationship differently now. That time she insisted on going to her friend's birthday alone, was that real or a cover? The weekend work trip to Portland where she came back exhausted and distant. What actually happened there? You can drive yourself crazy with those questions. And for a while I have to actually remind myself not to, that what's done is done. Claire sent one final email last month through her lawyer CCing Rebecca. It was long, apologetic, claiming she'd been in therapy and realized she had commitment issues stemming from childhood trauma and that I deserved better than what she could give. It felt rehearsed, like something her therapist told her to write. I didn't respond. Rebecca sent a brief acknowledgement that we'd received it purely for documentation purposes, and that was that. I don't wish her well, but I don't wish her harm either. She's just nothing to me now. A person I used to know who taught me some hard lessons about trust and honesty. Last week I was at Marcello's again. A colleague was having a birthday dinner and insisted on that restaurant. I almost said no, but then I thought, why should I? She doesn't get to ruin a perfectly good Italian restaurant for me. I walked in and the hostess recognized me. "Mr. Miller, good to see you again." "Good to be here," I said, and I meant it. We didn't sit at table 14, thank God, but I could see it from where I was. Just a table, nothing special about it now. The memory doesn't have the same sting anymore. Driving home that night, I realized something. I'm genuinely okay. Not happy yet maybe, but okay. I have good friends, good work, and a life that's mine again. No lies, no secrets, no wondering if the person sleeping next to me is texting someone else. Jason texted me yesterday. "My buddy's having a barbecue this weekend if you want to come. Low-key, just burgers and beer." "I'm in," I replied. A year ago I thought my life was perfect. Turns out it was a carefully constructed lie. Now, my life isn't perfect, but it's honest. And honestly, that's all I really want. Maybe someday I'll be ready to trust someone again. Maybe not. Either way, I'm going to be fine. Edit. For everyone asking about Claire, I have no idea what she's doing now and I don't want to know. That chapter is closed. Thank you all again. This really is the final update. Time to move on.